That's loud. That's loud. That's loud. It's less loud. Getting less loud. Getting even less loud. Oh, that's a fade out. I'm learning in real time what. Oh, hi. Hello. This ain't rock and roll. This is genocide. That gets. The more and more that feels accurate, the less fun that is to say.
Summer sausages, huh?
So it's summer sausages, yes. Hi, this is the Bowiesplaining. We are here. You are listening to us. If this is your first episode, why? Also, just in case it is, I'm Dan. That's Eric, right over there. Doesn't see. There he is.
Mm-hmm. As advertised.
As advertised. We are continuing our tour of the David Bowie experience. Just in, you know what? Fuck it. Just in case this is actually our first episode, here's how we came about doing this. Eric was like, "Hey, I think I want to listen to David Bowie," and I was like, "Oh, cool! I have some possible suggestions for you."
Did you know that I've listened to David Bowie before?
And then he was like, "Okay, cool." And then we were talking about like, "Hey, let's do another podcast because neither one of us does enough of those." And then we were like, "What if we do a Bowie thing?" And then this became that. And now you're listening to the podcast.
And now we don't do enough of this thing.
No, because of other
things we're back.
Work. Yeah. So, right. Oh, this is also most likely the first episode where we're going to ditch the side A, side B idea because going into this, we're going to need that format, I think, less because I mean, we could be wrong. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Anyway,
I might get very tired in an hour.
Who knows? I might too.
This is exciting.
Right.
Podcast listeners love to know when their hosts are tired. Oh, so we can expect the energy level to drop? Great.
Yeah. Okay.
They kick it up to 1.75.
All right, here we go. Roger.
Why is he so flat on the cover? Did he die?
Oh, the cover is a delight, actually.
He's all smush face, everybody.
Yeah, he's very smush face. Or also, depending on the version of the cover you're looking at, all you really see is feet. You have seen the full picture, right?
Oh yes, I've seen the full picture. You showed me at some point. Is it as? I mean, is the full picture as rare as seeing his dog genitalia on Diamond Dogs?
Oh no, it's not nearly as rare. That is genuinely rare. Let's see. Stories behind Lodger's cover artwork. There's a lot of glass involved. He was like a piece of a sheet of glass was like slowly lowered down on him to mush his nose.
Don't crush Bowie. Don't break the glass. David, are you okay? He's fine.
I'm not saying there are a lot of different things you can. So another piece about this. With the slide, with the notes and the side A, side B thing, I was really thinking about where this podcast, I think, has what it does that other podcasts, what it can do that other podcasts might not do, or what I started thinking about, like, do we need to do a whole lot of completist things? And the idea is possibly, but I think a lot of this is just context and discussion. It's, two guys just exploring some shit, not to say that I'm not going to still try to provide some of that historical contextual stuff, but I don't want it. I want it to be less about like, well, and now I'm going to tell you about I'm a professor of Bowieology or whatever. Because I'm not, and I don't really love that part of it. So I'm trying to find a balance there. Hopefully it works. So yes, it's fucked up. The picture is. So here are some notes that I have that I worked with Bowie bot.
Your new friend.
My new friend that to be fair, I did work on it.
You did. You even said, we shouldn't record today. I have more work to do.
Yes. Yes.
And that was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Presumably you did more work.
Yeah. So what I have here is I made slides again, and these slides will be on our Patreon once we upload
That's right,
it.
patrons. We're finally giving you something.
The idea that I wanted to, how do I put this? I wanted this to be sort of, this felt to me like a good album to play with the formatting of the notes themselves because of the nature of the album. It's kind of, it's not a declaration. It's sort of a pondering thing.
Ooh.
I think. And Eric, just
pondering.
Feel free to jump in at any point because there's not going to be a whole lot of.
Yeah, I've got to retrain my brain here. Where it's not, it's not me asking a few questions when you pause for a breath.
Right, but I mean, what I'm saying is ask away. But I'm not. I'm not. I don't think that going forward, it's gonna be as interesting for it to be like, okay, and then this happened, then he met this person, and this, and this, because at this point, from this point on, it's less about building who this Bowie person is and more about, okay, well, now the trajectory becomes different from this point forward.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I shouldn't start the sentence that way. Then you're going to think what I'm saying is interesting. It's not. The album's interesting. I did figure something weird out last episode that you were delighted by. That made me feel real good. What was which song was it on Heroes where?
Oh yeah.
We sped it up, and you're like, oh, it does sound like a pop song when you speed it up.
Right. Yeah, it was the Sons of the Silent Age.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
Down to the sax and everything. But yeah, the thing that so you've told me in the past that you wanted this to maybe be my first album.
Right.
But I had listened to what's that one people like Ziggy Stardust.
Right.
I'd listened to that album multiple times before. You're like, let's start with that one. And then we'll get to the Gnome.
Yeah, I think that with Ziggy, that's the one where I think that's why that, and just what I kind of knew about you musically at the time. That's, I think, the reason why I said not definitely Lodger, but maybe Lodger could be your first one, which is not a normal thing to say. And I think you probably understand why.
Yeah. And when I first listened to it, the very first track, I went, okay, I kind of get that. It's got this quasi yacht rock, easy rock sound to it, but it's got, it's got Bowie lyrics and such. And then immediately the next track is boom, boom.
Yep.
And Bowie's talking fast. He's talking fast. Singing real fast. Like, what's happening?
Yeah. It's a lot of it, and I'm gonna read from my notes without making it sound like I'm reading from my notes.
Oh, good.
So that way,
thanks for calling that out.
That way, if it happens one way or the other, I'm winning. So the title is like minimal, and the whole album itself is kind of off center and unembellished. There's like, it challenges you to make meaning of it, not because it lacks meaning, but because it like, it's such a weird album to talk about. which is why, which is a lot of why I do like. I just to be clear, I like this album a lot, and at the same time, um, it's one of the ones that I listen to the least.
Okay.
Uh, and I think that that might be the case with a lot of people because it's one of the weird ones, and in a way where it's just like I don't know where this fits exactly. I
Sure doesn't
don't.
fit with the rest of the trilogy,
No, it
quote
sure
unquote.
doesn't. Which is why I really do think that this one and Scary Monsters go together, but in a way that is almost intuitive but counterintuitive at the same time. Um, so yeah.
Uh-huh. Well put.
Yeah. The note that Bowie bot came up with was Lodger left, Lodger never arrived, Lodger was never booked under his own name. Um,
That
it's
might be
the
deep.
it's the middle of something Bowie decided not to finish, or maybe he finished it by walking away. This might be of the trilogy the most Eno of the albums.
It's clearly Eno.
Oh yeah,
Like even I mean the others had so much of, as we discussed a lot about ambient music and such, but like clearly this was experimentation with Eno. I don't know if it's always as enjoyable, but I don't know that the previous efforts were always enjoyable.
yeah. It's there's a lot of looping, a lot of collage, not a ton of smoothness, but it's not. It's disjointed without being, I think.
I mean, Dan, there's repetition between songs.
Yeah.
There are songs where I'm like, didn't I just listen to this song? Well, it's apparently different. He's singing something different. It sounds
Uh-huh.
different, but there's something about this that says this is the same song. I usually get it back to the bass or something going on with the guitars. I don't know.
Yeah, we're starting to enter a fourth dimension here in some
Okay.
ways. And I think that that is purposeful. I think that's sort of him because again, think about the trajectory here. We're doing someone who didn't really want to be a musician or not a performer. He wanted to be a writer, a lot of theatrics, coming up with these characters and these elaborate things, and then so many drugs and a lot of
Wait, what?
and a lot of struggle, a lot of all the things that we've talked about. Now we're kind of on the tail end of this. I mean, it's not even he didn't even really record it in Berlin. It's just called the Berlin trilogy because Eno's still here. Um, you have this moment where it's like with Low, it was like, I don't even know if I can do music anymore. I don't know what that would mean. And then
Hmm.
he did, and it's like, okay, cool. Heroes, it's like triumphant return to being able to make something approaching rock music.
Something people like everyone will want.
Yeah. And then I think with this one, it's just sort of like, you know what? Let's just leave. Let's see what happens if I just kind of like give just enough without trying to impress.
Okay.
Um, I'm just moving around to the slides here. I just for funsies, there's going to be a lot of zipping back and forth. Just for
Well,
funsies,
good.
I challenged myself to give BowieBot, aka ChatGPT, a lazy analogy, and just based on a hunch, not based on anything else. And I said that Lodger is Bowie's Banksy album, and so I invited it to say if I'm wrong, and it basically said it's not about graffiti, more about what happens when you refuse to look impressive. Bowie deliberately steps away from myth making here. He roughs it up, makes it strange on purpose. It's the wink behind the mask. So I asked, does it hold up? Anti-brand? Yes. Looks lazy when it isn't? Yes. Hides depth behind jokes? Yes. Commentary disguised as a shrug? Yes. It doesn't agree entirely. It just says you might be onto something there.
My goodness.
So
You mean the bot that you trained agrees with you?
I know, crazy.
Wow. You heard it here first, listeners.
Yeah.
Well, I heard it first. Never forget that.
So let's just go ahead and start with the basics, the things that I've titled what we'd be shot for not mentioning.
Okay.
It was recorded September 1978 to March 1979. Again, he's not one to take a lot of time to record these things. That was in Memphis and New York City. This is produced by Bowie, Tony Visconti, and Brian Eno. It officially closed out the Berlin trilogy, even though it wasn't made in Berlin. There are stories about this one using a lot more oblique strategies. I have no doubt that that is the case, but I also think that I think there is a lot more, doing some off-road work here of just going like, fuck it, let's just do this. And Bowie going like, cool, I love it.
Hooray.
Not so much in a sense where he does later in his career where it's just like, I don't give a shit, whatever, let's just make an album, I'm going to follow your lead. More just like, hey, you know what, I'm cool with whatever we do, because whatever we do, I have the energy to like do my thing with it.
Okay.
So one of the rumors, stories, whatever, is that the band swapped instruments for Boys Keep Swinging, which they did, and you can hear it, but they, more than anything, they swapped roles, which is a very Eno thing. So instead of saying like, okay, yes, you will, whoever it was, I think forget who played the violin. Someone who doesn't play a violin played the violin.
Oh.
So rather than him saying like, okay, you play this thing that you don't really know how to play. Okay, yeah, do that, but also consider what a violin should be and do that, which is a different thing. It's not so much struggle with this instrument for the sake of struggling.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like, okay, do your best impersonation of what this role is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. And that does help because you've mentioned that before that they swapped instruments and I'm like, well, does that just mean, oh no, the bass player had to play a bass with more strings that was higher.
Right.
Yeah, I guess that it's not just struggle. You said the same. But yeah, I'm processing what you're saying. It's not the same. It's not just you're a musician, figure it out.
Yeah,
and you know that you won't be as good at it as you are at your other thing that you specialize in. But yeah, I mean, every musician when you really get good at something, you can kind of just transfer it to something else.
Right.
If you're really good, you just kind of like, well, give me a few minutes. All right, I'm going to play the violin this way.
Right. So instead of it just being figure out how to play this instrument, it's do your best, get into the tone, live in the shoes of the person who plays this instrument and do that. Which is, it's sort of like we've had discussions without pressing record. Rarely.
But who recorded them?
Did they really happen?
Right.
Where we've talked about how there are things where it's like, okay, yes, this is rooted in humor and amusement and being silly and it being a joke, but there's also this other part to it where if you decide to take it utterly sincerely, it takes on this new meaning that doesn't take away the joke part of it, but also gets to this other place that can be a lot more interesting. And I think that that's what that's about. Loosely themed around travel, but it's it's more of a loosely. Well, and there's travel themes, but it's not about travel, right? It's
right.
It's I would argue that it's less about travel than it is about not staying still.
That would make sense. to me.
Um,
Yeah, it's less
and
about going to a place.
it's it's almost
Kinda.
like I hate to be one of these people here. I love Anthony Bourdain, but I hate when people talk about Anthony Bourdain the same way that people sometimes talk about like Tom Waits or Bukowski. It's just like, okay, I get it. You saw a thing once. Um, um, but some of the impact that I think that he had on people was that he talked about the difference between being a traveler and traveling or being a tourist. And I
Hmm.
think that that's kind of what this, again, it's not about travel. It's about not staying still and about,
Experiencing a place
well,
and
I think it's not, again, I think we're kind of hovering around this similar thing where it's
okay.
like, it's not so much about travel or not staying still as a sense of going to a different location
Hmm.
as it is about just, it's almost like this is the philosophical heart at the center of the song changes that he like kind of needed this amount of time in order to be able to approach with this amount of variety and depth. It's like not so much a mission statement. It's just like it's like move on.
Hmm.
It's not about actually going to another place, but it's not about going to another place. It's about having the ability to,
Maybe not be rooted.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Lack of roots, as I think with this is.
Phew.
Okay.
There's the next test.
All right. Okay.
Uh, oh, the
Uh,
spikes are retreating from my chair's armrests. The torture is abated for several minutes.
we have Adrian Belew on guitar, which we'll get into. I
Another
find,
Crimsonite.
yeah. Well, this is pre-Crimson, but he's
Oh, he's done
wonderful.
so much stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is shortly after what's the guy? The Frank Zappa. What are your feelings on Frank Zappa?
I like Frank Zappa. I
Okay.
wish I've listened to more Frank Zappa.
I haven't listened to much. I haven't listened to
There's some
I
just crazy, just wacky shit
yeah.
that's a little too fun and indulgent
Yeah,
for my taste.
that's definitely my one of my musical kryptonites is that like, hey, let's make it wacky and crazy, man. And I'm just like, okay, no.
When does the song come back on?
Yeah. All right, we got that. So when another thing that I wanted to add to this, and this
Oh, wait,
goes,
wait, wait, wait.
hmm?
Just
Yes,
real quick.
yeah,
No, stay right where you are.
okay.
This is a tease. If you join the
Hmm.
Patreon group, $2 a month, one for each of us, you get to
Yes.
see this cool image that Dan has created that looks like a Super Nintendo screen.
Yeah.
There are bananas, maybe?
Uh-huh.
Bowie, I'm assuming.
It's an approximation of Bowie, yes.
He may have his legs crossed and floating in the air. I'm not quite sure.
This is so these all of this is the result of conversations between myself and at least two other AIs.
Oh, good. You're allowing them to band together.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
So as we talked about Bowie, some of his legacy involves the internet and message boards and fan involvement and all that. So I really
His
do.
own
He has his, yeah, he has, he
his
had
own
his own
ISP.
ISP. Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it was wild. So I wanted to get some of that involved. So I went to Reddit and I mined Reddit and I mined Bowie Wonderworld. By I mean I had ChatGPT do the work for me, but I pointed it. And so here's some of what the fans had said at the time and are currently saying about it. And these are all quotes from these forums. Lodger is the one I pretend. Oh, by the way, I had it look for credible people who seemed to have credible opinions as well as like
Ah.
unhinged gatekeepy things.
Ooh,
Yeah.
a variety.
Yeah, yeah. Lodger is the one I pretend to love when most. I love the most when I'm around Bowie fans, which seems to fit. Um,
Yeah, but what about Lodger though?
yeah.
Come on, guys.
No, that is. I mean, you can totally feel that, right?
In any community, yes.
Yeah.
What's the? It's not too esoteric. No one's going to make fun of me for saying I like it. They're all going to kind of begrudgingly go, yeah, yeah, okay,
If I say
yeah.
tonight is a misunderstood gem, they'll laugh at me. However,
Uh, yeah.
it's a mess. We love it. Some fans quote Eno like he's a wizard. Others post ASCII art of Bowie holding a banana.
Uh-huh.
Reddit level honesty. There's something lonely and rootless about this album, like it's searching for a place to land but never finds one. One fan called it a musical postcard from a crumbling empire. Those are dogs. I don't know if you can hear them. Chris
You can
O'Leary,
probably hear mine. It's fine.
music blogger legend, says it's about failed travel, miscommunication, and surveillance. Any thoughts on any of that?
Some of that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Like I can vibe with some of that.
Yeah.
Um, some of it's a little too weird, but crumbling empire. I don't know. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if like immediately after one of his like highest regarded albums, it's crumbling.
Well,
Is that
here's the
like it's falling apart and in that destruction? Heroes and Low were the only good things to come out of it, or what?
here's the part that you might not have access to yet is that we're starting to get to places where you know how like Dylan fans, it's like there are people who are like, I can't stand that he ever
Oh,
touched an electric guitar,
right,
like that
right.
kind of thing. Um, there are like any religion, there are divisions within the faithful here.
So when he
Um,
started to touch those wacky electronic instruments and started to do weird technology things,
it gets even more weird than that because we start to get to a place where it's like, okay, I liked him when he did Ziggy Stardust,
uh-huh.
and then that crew will usually get you through Diamond Dogs, and
I can see
then
that, yeah.
there's the I really started liking him more when he started doing Diamond Dogs, but I also appreciate the earlier stuff. I'm probably in this camp. Um, and basically, as long as he's doing interesting stuff, I like him.
It's
Um,
not you're not there for the glam
I'm
phase,
not
but
not
you
there
don't
for the
dislike the
glam,
glam
right?
phase.
I to me, it's all, and I think to this contingency, it's sort of like I'm inclined to like whatever he does, but with the qualification of if it's boring, I'm allowed to say it's boring. Um, and then there's also the group of, okay, he forsook us when he started doing electronic music. And then there's also another group where it's like, okay, I like the electronic stuff, but only Low and Heroes because they're weird. And then you get the other group where it's like I really only like the stuff that's weird, and I like Lodger because it's weird, and
Hmm.
it's just like it gets so strange, and I think the crumbling empire idea is um possibly seeing where it's going.
Hmm.
Because tonight's coming. um,
Sure.
and I think that
Wait,
this
is
is
tonight that rap song that
tonight
Vicky
is the
likes and you
album
can't
that
stand?
features it. Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
tonight
Okay.
I'm
I've
more now that
I've
I'm
heard
digging
that.
more into it, it's complicated. um so but I
Hey,
think the
Vicky.
I think I think the crumbling empire idea is sort of like They know where this is going, and at the same time, they can kind of see. They if you know where this is going, you can kind of see some of the cracks in this album, but I don't think anyone would expect you to see them quite yet, and I don't know that I entirely do.
I mean, I get the concept that that there isn't necessarily a concept because the music. I I appreciate that the cycles he's gone through so far are. I'm interested in this now. Let's have a transitional album, and then let's do the full thing.
Right.
And I don't know that we ever landed on the full thing, but Low is pretty much the full thing.
I think that this album is it has a listlessness to it that might not be everyone's thing.
Yeah, and the more I listen to it, the more I like the things that are happening.
Right.
That first time through, I'm like, what is happening? That was the question I most wanted to answer, not like, what am I hearing? Well, I guess it is more, what am I hearing versus what's the theme? What are we singing about? What are we playing about? What's the style that he's trying to establish? And I'm not sure that he is at this point trying to establish something cohesive.
It's almost like what you're saying is where it sits and why it feels off, just like this slide in front of us says.
Wow, look at that.
So
and
it's after
feeling off is okay.
Right, totally.
You're allowed to do this.
Yeah. And so after Heroes Before Scary Monsters, it's not trying to fit between them. He doesn't build a new identity here. He deconstructs the ones he's already tried. If Low is interior and Heroes is heroic, Lodger is deliberately off balance. Mm-hmm. You'll hear weird transitions, unfinished sounding vocals, sudden genre jumps, and that's on purpose.
Okay. I figured. I mean, there are so many times. Well, even early on in the album, second track, we've got Bowie starting to sing, and it gets distorted. Like he's leaning into the microphone too much, or Tony's like really cranking the gain.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
One of the last episode of Supreme Resort we put out when we used that old audio, I'm like, oh no, this was during the time where I couldn't get Jimmy and Dan's gain down enough. Something was wrong. And for like 5 episodes, no matter what you did, you're like, I can't turn it down more. I'm like, then why are you cracking? Why is there fuzz? What is wrong?
Yeah. Well, that
was the first time I lost my mind editing.
Yeah, and I think that it's sort of like we've figured out how the things break in interesting ways, so let's break them in interesting ways.
Hooray! That's good.
Yeah. Weird stuff that makes it work. Songs built from loops and collage. We've already talked a lot about this. Guitars that sound like microwaves arguing with radios. Lyrics that sound like postcards. Lyrics that sound like postcards from nowhere. Eno encouraging and keeping accidents. Bowie followed. Visconti pushed the tech, but entirely to let the seams show. So yeah, that's kind of this. This is about accidents staying accidents, and if you apologize. No, accidents only stay accidents if you apologize for them, and Lodger never does. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yes.
I need to, if you can cue up some music here, I need to use the restroom.
Okay.
It's pee time in P-Town.
Okay. If you listening to this would also like to take this time to...
I knew Dan would just keep it rolling. Yeah.
Urinate. Or do any other bathroom-related activities. In fact...
Like clean it.
Perhaps you want to clean it. Perhaps you want to get an order together. And have that order consist of toilet paper, cleaning supplies. Toilet paper is kind of a cleaning supply if you think about it. It does. I mean, it doesn't actually have a specific. It has a specific intended purpose, but if you think about it, it has a lot of unintended purposes. What are these purposes, you're saying? Well, let me go over them. You might not know this, but you can, in fact, use toilet paper as you would a Kleenex. Yes, I'm saying the brand name because I'm fancy. So, Big Kleenex doesn't want you to know this, but if you're ever running short on Kleenex, you can just grab that toilet paper. Make sure it's not used. And you blow that nose. Go ahead and do that right now. Ooh, that's good. Toilet paper can also be used to start a fire. You, of course, need other things. And sure, it's probably not as effective as, say, newspaper. But, you know, with the media being what it is, who wants to have those around? Moving on from toilet paper, you also have other cleaning supplies. I'm partial to Comet. Comet is a cleanser. It's a cleanser. Cleaner. Cleanser is a thing that cleans a thing, right? And a cleaner is a person that cleans stuff. Let's just go with that. Comet has several scents. I prefer the pine scent. It makes me feel like a rugged mountain man while I take a giant dump. And then I use the okay, we're getting too detailed here. Comet is best used if you sprinkle it dry onto whatever you're about to clean, and let the thing that you're about to clean, you're basically giving it a warning shot. You're saying, I'm about to clean you. And the thing you're about to clean has to deal with that. It has to sit with the Comet on it, knowing, sitting in its shame of being dirty. And it has to think about whether it's going to fight you or not. And eventually it realizes, I'm not going to win this fight. Not me. And then when you start scrubbing, it's like, yeah, I've been a bad boy. Or girl. Or envy. Because it's important to understand that items in your bathroom may or may not have a gender. And Eric's back, so I don't need to continue down that road.
That was a great segue.
Yep. Anyway.
Consider that, folks. Please write in. Was that a good segue? I don't know. I'll have to find out when you find out.
Sure it wasn't.
Let's learn together.
But hey, no wax cylinders were harmed in this one. This is a Bowie we rarely see. It's a Bowie without disguise, but also without clarity.
I was going to ask, is this where he comes up with Sailor, or did he just talk about Sailor during Red Sails?
I suspect it's like so many things in Bowie land. It's just sort of a series of themes that eventually became, I need to set up a username for my account. Sailor seems to fit,
Okay.
No mask means no map. Lodger lets things get muddy. He's not a spaceman, a soul boy, or a thin white duke. He's a wanderer with a carry-on bag full of glitches. Excuse me. I actually don't. Bowie, Eno's influence isn't just sonic. It's spiritual. Lodger. It's spiritual. Period. Yep. Sorry.
It's right over his
formatting.
Butt crack there in the picture.
Right in his butthole. Hold on. Let me just change that. There we go. Right there. Now it looks like there's a sun in his anus. Shout out to Anti-Oedipus. Anyway, Eno's influence isn't just sonic, it's spiritual. Period. Sun anus. Lodger isn't trying to impress, it's trying to confuse itself. There's a courage here that looks like sloppiness, but isn't. So yeah, he's worn and shed more identities than most people have in a lifetime at this point. So it's basically just about saying, hey, what if we just made some music that we were interested in?
And so this whole Eno thing, that's all part of it. You're partnering with this eccentric guy who just tries to get different performances out of people.
Yeah, I think Eno, understandably gets mythologized as this quote weird guy, and I think there's some truth to that, but I think
But his methods.
Well,
His
sort of.
cards, I mean, I'm not necessarily mythologizing him, other than like you've talked about this whole, let's go on the deck here. Oh, hey, we're doing this today.
Yeah, he's more just like it's. And I'm not like pushing back on what you're saying. I'm just trying to like.
It's not weird for weird's sake. It's trying to It's trying to stimulate something.
Yeah, he's just very good at saying like, okay. I think one of his
Let me tell you what you go ahead and finish.
I think one of his greatest strengths is he's able to approach something and have an honest reaction to it and kind of go like, okay, yeah, but so what?
Okay.
Or if a thing is just kind of working and fun and cool and he's vibing with it, he's able to sit back and go like, this can just be this. It doesn't need to be anything more than this. Like he kind of goes in a couple directions there where it's like, or like, okay, well, surely this won't work, but then wait a minute, maybe it will not work in a perfect way. You know,
and perhaps you shouldn't call me Shirley.
Yeah, surely.
I wouldn't mind. I like that joke.
Eric, have you seen the video to Boys Keep Swinging?
I have not.
Okay.
The only Bowie videos I've seen include Bing Crosby and Mick Jagger.
Oh, these videos are so delightful. So this is our transitional area that we've had where we're going to get into the tracks, which is where you kind of take the lead. Are you ready to get into the tracks?
Oh, so you do want me to take the lead. That was a gentle nudge under the table. I'm glad we installed that module that lets you poke me under the table.
It's very
from
very
across
expensive.
The country.
It's a very long string.
The cans don't work quite as well for talking, but it does activate the boot.
By the way, thanks to our listeners who, when they were driving along the 15, noticed the dangling string and got out of their car, risked their own life, and tied it back together. That you might not have known you were helping us, but you were.
Wow. You just reestablished our network.
So
Dan's back. I texted Dan.
So yeah, basically the method that I came up with is I tried to embed anything, any nudges, any sort of musical structure shit into the images that we are. I mean, granted, the listener won't see the images, but they'll hear the conversation. Into the images that are included going forward. So it's not just, hey, here's a silly thing that I found. It's I sat and I crunched language with a couple AIs and an image generating AI to come up with this is what there are things, there's purpose behind it. It's intended to be not just wallpaper, but it can also be wallpaper for the room that we have the conversation in, if that makes sense.
Grand
indeed.
Woo! Fantastic Voyage.
Well done.
You know, as I don't check the email that often, we might want to do a spam of the week later. But
let's do that in a little home stretch before the home stretch. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Yeah, it's okay. You don't have to know what you're saying.
Okay.
But yes, I was thinking that's where I was going with this. Is that we generally, while we're talking over this, don't get dinged too hard. We can't make money off of the 17 people who watch the video or watch the the video
Video,
broadcast of our
yes.
thing.
Yes.
Not that we're on it; it's just audio, but it's on that tube. But there are some territories in other countries where they're like, nope, you can't do that. We're like, okay, well, I guess David Bowie's come after you before.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
Maybe I don't know.
Also, by the way, I just in case I need to mention it, I did notice that Zoom started doing that thing again where it dips out the.
Oh, when I talk.
Yeah. So, but don't let that stop you, listener. If that's like really bothering you, just let us know, and I can figure out a way to fix it, which might just involve not playing the music. But
yeah, I mean, we could reassign the music to me because I can do it on my board under a separate thing where you could dodge it separately. But
maybe next episode. Maybe
this has
we'll
been
think
Technology Podcast Talk.
Hey, welcome. Anyway, and then, you know what? Here, we don't really need the music, do we?
Not really. I mean, we did fine with it early. People can listen to it on their own without us yammering over it.
Hey, you know what? Actually, how about this? If you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, I would love it if that song was playing lightly while I'm listening to this. I'm going to introduce you to something called Open a New Tab. And
all right.
And you are welcome to do that. I'm not going to stop you. And neither one of us will be offended. We won't even know.
Unless you call 856 our ears to give us some feedback.
Ask for Jimmy. Anyway, fantastic voyage. Eric, your thoughts?
I mean, it started out, like I said earlier, like it just started out with this totally different feel than what I was left with after the previous two albums, where we're heading through Arabia, and then it's just this pleasant little melody, and it's a much more complex song, of course, but it's pleasant. Fantastic Voyage it's got this sweet sadness to it that's just like, oh, okay, I like this. It works on so many different levels. Musically, it's pleasant to listen to. It's got regular, quote unquote, regular things going on with it. It's got deep lyrics that, I haven't fully unpacked yet, but yeah, that's like a lot of Bowie stuff. I feel like there's something that makes me want to listen to the lyrics more closely and understand this song better, because it's more than just we're experimenting with something. It's it just has a nice aesthetic to it, nice vibes to it. He's bringing up the lyrics. That's the thing I didn't have time to do this week, was really sit down with the lyrics and read them while I was listening, like I usually do.
Hey, come on, take a ride. There's a party over there. That ain't no. That's not okay. Hold on.
Oh, okay. I'm like, wow, I don't remember those.
Bowie. Okay.
Has Bowie ever said jive?
I sure hope not. Well, maybe during John, I'm Only Dancing Again, he did. Okay. I still haven't played that song for you, I don't think.
Oh, I've heard it on Dan Hates the Beatles.
Oh, that's right.
On your final episode that was about Bowie.
It's awful. In the event, it's fantastic. So having the politics that I have, I may be reading things into this, but
you may be reading into the shooting the missiles?
Yeah. But I think the part that I really have difficulty with, hold on.
Wipe out an entire race. I mean, the pre-chorus or maybe chorus, I'm not sure, thinking about the structure, is living with somebody's depression. That's the one that like stepped out to me. I'm like, oh, there's something going on here.
Yeah.
There you go. Because we'll never say anything nice again, will we? I caught that as well this last time listening.
That's
sad.
That would be hard for me to say out loud, and I'm saving the emotions for Black Star. Because that line, it hits. It fucking hits.
These days, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
why say anything nice? Why get along with anybody? Do you disagree with me? Great, I hate you now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like looking at, and I think this has probably always been true, and this kind of goes into some conversation we've had about things. Um, it is really hard to see things as they are and be able to go like, hey, yeah, everything's okay, everything's gonna work. But at the same time, that's kind of how it's always been. Um, or the trajectory it's always been on.
That's I could see that being particularly devastating. Like, oh wait, we've been warned about this before.
Right.
We've been talking about this for a while. We've been thinking these thoughts for too long, and history always repeats itself.
Yeah, and just speaking for myself, I think there's a weird sort of I don't I want to be careful how I say this, or and because I might not be as careful as I can be, I'm going to ask that anyone listening to this try to extend some good faith here to what I'm saying. Um, there's a weird sense of like, well, at least more people see it now. You know, the shit that I've been railing about for
I think
decades.
that's fair. I mean, I certainly don't
Like that
take
doesn't make it
offense.
better.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make anything better. But what else are you supposed to say at a time like this, other than "I want this to stop," and I don't know how.
Yeah, yeah. And it's sort of like that. It's like getting diagnosed with like it's like when I was diagnosed with the learning disability. It was like, oh, this is actually a thing. It's kind of it's almost like that feeling where it's just like, oh, you see it too. Thank God.
And this was later, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I know some other people that have gone through that. Heck, even my dad, when he went through a few like tests, and they're like, "Well, here you go," and he's like, "Well, what am I supposed to do with that? I'm in my 40s or 50s at the time." My sister's like, "I told you." I'm like, well, he runs a successful business. He's figured it out.
Right. But I mean it does help to be able to go like, oh, that okay, I'm not just weird, it's just a thing.
Hmm.
And I think that with things being as they are in the world now, there's kind of and I real it's a complicated feeling, and I'm not in any way trying to say like, and therefore that's why I think genocide is great. You know,
Hooray!
it's more just like okay, the weight feels less heavy when it's carried by more people. And it's not that I have always been the only person carrying any of this. And certainly other people have been carrying it to a much greater and more materially
No, but that doesn't make the burden
invasive
any less.
way. Yeah.
It-
Yeah.
well, I guess when you find that there are more people that have been doing it, like you're saying, that does make it less because you're sharing. But you need to
Right.
find those people first. Otherwise, you're
Right.
in isolation.
Or what, and I think that what's kind of happening now, and granted, not as to an extent that I hope it will, this feeling of like, oh, okay, you saw the guy get trampled by the police horse too. Okay, that's fucked up, right? And then
What do we all think about
how
this?
yeah, and have someone go like, yeah, that's profoundly fucked up. Are you telling me that's normal? And you go, yes. And they go, oh, okay, now I get
Uh-huh.
it. You know. Um, so the song
Um,
itself, nothing asserts itself, center keeps drifting, not lost, just undecided. There's something being held back, but kindly. The structure breathes like someone waiting to be interrupted. No trickery, just withheld conclusion. The frame was built first, but they left it open. I don't
deep.
know. Yeah. Yeah,
I don't
man.
know. Yeah, it was such a shock hearing these tones coming out of my headphones,
Your Bowie holes.
my Bowie holes. No, into my Bowie holes.
Into your Bowie holes. That's right.
Yes. And
Uh,
yeah, it like oh, definitely was not you deliberately didn't set me up with anything. You just
mhm.
said listen to it. I'm like, oh, my
How, let me ask
again,
you, Eric, how would you set someone up for this album?
man, I mean, considering you thought that this was going to be my like first, yeah, you should listen to this one first. I'm like, man,
I bet,
I don't know what I would have thought because yeah,
I think you
it's
would,
the
I
first
think,
two songs already are a roller coaster.
yeah, I guess I wasn't really taking that into consideration.
I mean, the
I think,
second song can give you a panic attack.
yeah, well, speaking of,
There we go. African Night Flight, or as I keep wanting to say, African Night Fight.
basically,
But but yeah, it's total anxiety. Like this whole looking at the lyrics to it, I'm like, wow, I only got like a fraction of the stuff that's going on. But even then, reading them, like, wow, I still need to spend time looking at the lyrics and listening to the lyrics because it's like I said earlier, it's this harsh boom boom like on
yeah,
the bass, just repeating, just yanking those strings, and everything else that's going on is designed to counteract the sad but serene feeling from the first song.
yeah, yeah, and from what I understand, some of it comes from him talking to expats in Berlin
Okay.
and just kind of putting together a what's it called when they have like a I know there's a term for it, but I don't know that I'm going to get there. There's a character that is like a conglomeration of a lot of different characters, or a lot of different real people. Um,
I think I know what you're saying, and I'm struggling to
yeah,
grasp the term too.
but this song, from what I
Not
if
like a
I
tulka.
a tulpa
That's a no, tulpa.
tulpa, yeah, no, that's
No,
Twin Peaks.
that's different.
Um,
No, it's not. I mean, yes, it is, but no, it's not. That's summoning a spirit based on belief.
right. Um, it's a I don't know. I'm gonna stop trying to come up with it. But I think these characters that he met and talked to in Berlin who were expats, and I think, and that's where we get our one time Mormon reference in the lyrics. Is there was a person that he met that was a one time Mormon,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a sense of
Oh,
like,
Jimmy
yeah, he met Jimmy in
in Berlin.
1970s Berlin. Yes. Um, there's a sort of an urgency to them, but also a sense of like they're they have a weird like sense of calm in their constant movement. Um, and I just keep my touch point for the song is often, understandably, his burning eye can see me through, which is sung in a way that sounds like almost like a mantra, but the words
Mm-hmm.
themselves are fucking terrifying.
Oh gosh, yeah. Like I'm like, oh, I'm glad I haven't heard that part yet after listening to the song 10 times.
Let's see.
Uh,
Let me see. Let's see. African Night Flight. Night Flight lyrics. There we go. African Nightmare, one time Mormon, fallen noble lumen. I slide to the nearest bar. Undermine chairman went too far. Been down, been in a warhole, rent a Sony. Wonder how the dollar went down. Gotta get a word to Elizabeth's father. Hey ho, wish me well. His burning eye will see me through. It's right there. Seemed like another day I could fly into the eye of God on high. And then we got just possible other language. Let's see.
maybe.
Translate. Thank you.
Ooh, Swahili.
Thank you for the information.
Oh wow, that's weird. It's like
Oh,
like a
bananas, where we get the references to
Bowie
bananas
holding the
and
banana.
yeah, okay.
There you go.
Wow.
So thank you for the information. So it's like he's call is he now I
Thank
just have this
you,
image of him on like a payphone talking to nothing.
thank you for the information. Wow. Saji Habari Habari Santi Na banana. That's ridiculous.
Okay, hey, you're learning things too this time. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Over the bushland, over the trees, wise like a orangutan. Orangutan. That was me. Uh, there's a lot of repetition, actually, more than I thought. Because it does just seem like a just clusterfuck of chaotic energy, and it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh,
The energy's
repetition.
there, but hmm?
Yeah. Oh, I thought this was for a moment. I thought this was repetition, and I said, "Oh, repetition with lyrics. We don't want to watch that." Um. Anyway, yeah.
Hmm.
Let's see. Let's see what we got. Yasa Sen, Turkish for long live.
Wait. You skipped move on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
I'm
Uh,
looking at a track list, all right?
um, yeah. What are your what were your initial thoughts on Move On?
Um Move on is I mean it's another it's another song, that's for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's more. It's another one where I do need to spend more time unpacking lyrics and such. Um, but yeah, this is more what you were talking about before. I mean, obviously, the song is called "Move On,"
Mm-hmm.
but and he is clearly listing places to go. I every time I've listened, I try to pay a little more attention to lyrics. I always just latch onto "Cyprus is my island" when the
Yeah.
going's rough. Like he's listing places maybe that he's been and wants to go. I guess mostly places he's been. Um,
Which is a kind of a weird thing for him to do, but I'm not saying that in a critical way. It's just like it's so interesting for him to be, especially in the context of this weird ass album, to be like, "Hey, have you thought about going to Kyoto?"
right.
I
But
happen
yeah,
to vacation there.
like he finishes with "I can't forget you," so he's feeling retrospective anyway.
Right.
So is that the whole point? Like, hey, I kind of miss you, but I have to keep going. Here are the places I've been and why, and you were there at one of them, I guess.
Let's continue this trend here.
Okay, let's look at the actual lyrics.
So I'm gonna pack it back and move on. Might take a train, take a
Might
girl,
take a
move
girl
on.
when I move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere someone's calling me and the chips are down. Maybe it's a trick of the mind. Bluer than her eyes. Okay. Somewhere there's a morning sky, bluer than her eyes. Somewhere there's an ocean, innocent and
So
wild.
it's kind of that. I mean, that right there just implies like, well, I met a cool gal, but maybe nature's better. I don't know. That seems kind
Maybe.
of trite for Bowie.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that it's yeah. There's. I think that I don't know what it is in here in this line. Maybe there's a morning sky bluer than her eyes. Um, maybe it's just a trick of the mind. It's just interesting that he this feels like a shift to me to where this is I'm just a traveling mind. Maybe it's just a trick of the mind, but there's a morning somewhere there's a morning sky bluer than her eyes. It's almost like he's trying to forget her.
Yeah, but he's trying to explain to her why he's still moving, why
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
important for him to keep going. Because, hey, girl, not to, I don't want to put it indelicately, but maybe there's a better girl.
yeah. I think it's almost like I don't think there's a single answer to this. It's like why both of these can be true. I do need to move
Hmm.
on, but I also and yeah, sometimes I am trying to forget where I've been or who I've been there with, but also at the same time, like I can't entirely forget any of it. Um, did you notice that this is a reversed all the young dudes?
what do you mean? Because I know all the young dudes. I know all the young dudes. No, I know the song, but what do you mean by reversed? So the chord structure is reversed?
Yeah.
Oh, and even the
Yeah.
part that sounds clearly weird and
Yeah.
distorted and backwards
Yeah.
is literally all the young dudes in reverse.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Oh, because I've been wondering, like, what is this? What language is this? It could be anything at this point. Because the next song has a Turkish word.
Yeah, and it's not. They're not singing the actual words. It's ayau.
Right, but yeah, they're just because they're singing it and then reversing it Twin Peaks style.
Yep.
It has that distort effect.
The look on Eric's face is wonderful right now.
Oh my goodness, this album, what the hell? Bowino.
I love that you didn't catch that. That's wonderful.
No, of course I didn't catch that.
No,
I was wondering,
why?
like,
How
what is
could
this
you have?
thing?
How could you have?
I'm not listening to a Beatles album where I expect to listen to everything in reverse to find out what Satan's going to tell me next.
Right. Well, that's what Bowie did, and that's why Satan arrived in his swimming pool. Oh my goodness.
But it's okay. Angie told him about it, and they watched the stain drift away overnight.
Right. I happen to know this.
Well, they were both on very heavy drugs.
What are you talking about? Angie was a hero. Okay.
Is a hero.
Is a hero, yes. A treasure. Yasa Sen, Turkish for long live.
I love that it's like, why is it translated? Is it because most of the word is assassin or
there's
what?
No reason. There's no reason. I honestly think it's sort of a way of him first of all, it feels a little bit like an Eno move, but I don't know if it is. But it's almost like them going like, okay, look, we know people are going to think that we actually think we're making world music here. We need to make it very clear that we're taking a piss on those people.
and that's what's so interesting, because Eno spent so much time working with Byrne and the Talking Heads.
Right.
And Byrne loves his world music. And this doesn't one of my thoughts was that this doesn't quite fit the mold of David Byrne, where he's like, I invited a whole bunch of people who speak native Swahili to come and sing on this song with me. Or like Paul Simon doing the same. Like,
yeah, I suspect that. Well, so this was, I think, before the first Talking Heads album.
77 was their first, wasn't it?
Maybe. I don't know the timeline exactly, but it was around that time. And I have a feeling that Eno was getting a feel for kind of who this person was and kind of going like, okay, I like what they're doing, and clearly this is a little bit of a meal ticket for me. But he's also a little bit of a douchebag.
I mean, it kind of sounds. There are some times where Bowie does the, Middle Eastern voice.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, we're going for it, and we're doing the Middle Eastern instruments, or the violins, or however they're making those noises. Not noises. I shouldn't say noises. Those sounds, those melodies. But yeah, it doesn't fully lean into it. You wrote Turkish reggae, and that, I mean, it's kind of that. It's just.
I think that this goes along with, at the time, there were people like John Hassel and they were clear that things were happening around this time where it was like, ooh, I just discovered that Africa exists. I'm going to make it. I'm
Africa,
gonna,
the country,
yes,
the
100%.
one country.
That's where I'm going with this.
Right.
Is or it's like what my friend Derek and I used to call racist reverb, where it's like, ooh, this instrument sounds so exotic, and not even recognizing that in saying that you are in fact engaging in Orientalism and Western chauvinism. And
That's like Walt Disney going, so the food is from China, huh?
yeah, they're tropical, right?
Chinese food? Yes. Okay. Pineapples.
Yes. Yeah, this sort of weird, like well-intended, but kind of like, I think they were both kind of aware that that was happening and not necessarily, and kind of going like, okay, well, this is all fun and everything, but it's also kind of fucked up, right?
Now I see why you like David Bowie. Oh, that's Dan's personality right there. And it's so interesting the cadence that Bowie has when he's singing. It took me a while for him to realize, like, when he's singing the very first line, "I'm not a moody guy." I didn't realize he wasn't speaking in Turkish. He's like,
awesome.
"I'm not a moody guy." It took me a long time to go, oh, he's saying he's not a moody guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
The voice,
What's the point of this song?
Some of the sort of like haiku ish lines that ChatGPT and I came up with for you. Rhythm loops like a customs line, slow, dense, slow, tense, circular. The voice doesn't fit the accent it chose. No place claimed, no place returned to. Each repetition more deliberate than the last. The groove tries to smile but doesn't explain the joke. It isn't fusion; it's a forgery stamped on by both embassies.
I like that.
The mask doesn't hide; it verifies.
Yeah, because it's fun. It's a good song. I've had it in my head for weeks.
There's so much about the song that on paper shouldn't enjoy, but it's such a delightful song. It's just so fucking weird.
We want proud and lustful. Huh?
Yeah, and it's and there's
you want
so
to
many,
fight, but I don't want to leave.
Yeah. There's so many weird choices in there, like this.
Those don't fit.
Well, and the song kind of just like, almost breaks itself when it gets to a place where it should be the chorus. It's like it all stops. And there's like, you want,
yeah.
And then like
you're right. It literally pauses.
Yeah,
and then you hear like a boom, boom. Yeah. So
yeah.
Oh, we're back to it.
Just to break your brain a little bit again.
Oh, is this backwards for Space Oddity? What are you doing?
Close. It is the same chord structure as Fame. It's not backwards, though. Play them both in your head.
Okay, got it.
Yep.
Yep.
It's not hard to do.
Use this old sheet music?
Yeah.
David? Adrian Ballou, you want to use this old sheet music?
Which makes it even more fun for me, because it's like Fame, I feel like, was a throwaway at the time when it was recorded, even though I think he didn't have it in him to consider anything a throwaway at that time. And I think this is sort of reclaiming that status as like look, this can just be a fun thing we do, right? And then there's also this really cool moment where I feel like the wink of the joke is in him going, and look at us. Like he's kind of too close to the, so here we are
doing the song.
Yeah. I think we're good there.
Okay. I like that a lot.
Red Sails.
Okay. Now I'm just focused on Yo so say. Um, Red Sails. Okay. Yeah, it's a good song.
It's an
I
okay
didn't
song.
realize until later that it was the end of the first side of the album. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
It did take me a while to go, wait, Red Sails and Red Money?
Yes, there's also that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's I don't know how much to say about it other than like I enjoy the song. It's got a good groove toward the end. It like it's so funny to me that like the thing that really catches me is all the way at the end when he's like far 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 away.
Yes, yes.
It like that little thing like just sticks in my head. Right. I'm like, oh, this is coming apart. Oh, it's over.
Yeah. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. It's
Right, like the whole thing. I'm like, oh, I wanted more of that. I wanted that to keep going for a few more minutes.
it's really a distillation of Brian Eno's "Taking Tiger Mountain" by Strategy, the full album, like in one song. It's it just it. I never understood or appreciated this song until I listened to that album. And I was like, oh, I get it. It's all here. It's all here.
I mean,
Like,
it's got a lot of the repetition that you've been talking about, like the it's percussive at a lot of times, like red sails, like the whole group going red sails, and
yeah.
I don't know what it's about. I like it.
Yeah, the one of the notes that I saw was that it's almost like they took Noi and said, okay, you're allowed to have hooks, but you're not allowed to make it catchy.
Noi.
Bowie
You got
meets
to
German
pronounce it with the
experimental.
exclamation point.
That's
I'm
right,
sorry.
just like Jeb. Bowie meets German experimental music. Imagery feels like a dream chase. Some destinations are invented to justify the voyage. I enjoy how it almost invites you to think that it's doing racist reverb with Chinese music at the beginning, but then it drops it entirely.
Oh yeah, you're right. Like by the end, I've lost that intro.
Right.
Huh.
It's sort of like, okay, yeah, we get where you're going to go with the red thing, and we'll take you there, but no, that we're going somewhere else.
No, this isn't about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Here we go.
Oh no.
Into the actually, before we get to side 2, would you like to read some of the spam mail?
Okay, let me see here. I should have prepared. This is the time when I'm talking too much. Let's see. Okay. Where's that link? No, that's for the website we don't use. Still pay for. Thank you for your Patreon dollars. Patreon dollars kind of help pay for that website once a year. I'm glad the person who hosts it is my friend and business partner.
That's good.
I should ask my wife to wear that the next time she goes grocery shopping, which would be
yes,
laughable
definitely.
because she never goes grocery shopping.
I don't either. I use Lon's delivery.
Yeah, people just roll up to the back of the car and throw stuff in the trunk and she drives home.
Oh, it's fantastic.
That's not true. I pick up the food.
Hi, Dan from the future here. It occurred to us during this recording that for some reason, because we record the way we do, the audio track that was playing under our conversation got cut off and ducked in ways that sound awful and are probably very irritating. We're going to think of ways around this problem in the future, or at least be more aware that it's happening. In the meantime, I'm going to cut out this, I'm going to say 20-minute long, possibly, diversion of Eric talking about how he got his identity stolen, not related to the album Lodger. If you would like to hear the content about him getting his identity stolen without the bad audio underneath it, let us know. I guess we'll do a special episode. That's it. Thank you for listening. This has been Dan. Well, present for me, future for the version of us that I've interrupted, but for you listening, past, but less past. You get the idea. Let's get back to Lodger.
He's like, okay, well, we've got everything taken care of. I'm going to send you a few links that you can use to get your devices set back up. And ultimately what that means is I had to establish a new Apple ID.
Right.
I needed a completely new online identity with a new email address. And they wouldn't let me do it because all of my old email addresses were linked to the main one. So when I called the second day, I had to have her explain to me, oh, well, I can help you build a new address. I'm like, oh, that's good. Oh, okay, thank you. So that's a temporary thing, right? And she's like, oh, no, your old stuff is gone.
Yeah.
And she told me that. I'm like, okay, all right, I get that. But someone else has all of my stuff. Is that what I'm hearing? And she's like, I need a couple minutes to finish my notes.
Mm.
And I said, oh, please. And she goes, no, it's just, I can't switch mental gears until I finish my notes on the earlier part of the conversation. So she was being very honest, where she's like, well, maybe she was being a little not honest, saying, I need a second to talk to my boss about how to handle this.
Right.
Because you might lose it. And I'm like, oh, yes, please take all the time you want. And like, I was on hold for hours that day.
My God.
And she went through the whole thing and she's like, okay, so yes, your stuff is gone. I'm like, but they have access to my old iCloud drive. And she goes, did you have sensitive information on there? I'm like, unless you consider sheet music sensitive, no. Like I had a bunch of different like guitar tabs that I had downloaded on. Like I said, I didn't use it. And that's where she was like, I'm sensing some weird vibes. I'm like, it's only because you weren't honest with me. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
And then when I wrote back later that same night, I got home and I wrote in, and it was on the online chat. When you talk about somebody who's willing to step outside of their thing, the first thing the dude said on the online chat was, Jesus, that sucks, man. What the hell?
Yeah.
And I went, oh, I feel seen.
That's how that should always be handled. Yeah. No, and that's people can like break another person by just being like, okay, unfortunately, it's like, okay, this isn't helping. Your training is not helping you right now. Your training as an employee is not helping you. I need you to rely on your training as a human.
Right.
Yeah.
A little bit of sympathy, even though at the end I'm like, okay, you can't say you're going to talk to your supervisor about it. I know Apple's policies. I know now. I realize what all that means.
Right.
Personally, I know you can't help me anymore, and I just need to start over. And I need to find receipts for everything I've ever bought. Thankfully, I bought almost everything at Best Buy.
There we go.
There we go. Still haven't done it. Anyway, do we have time to do the second half here?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's go. DJ.
Yeah, the second half of this album it's different.
Man, DJ's such a banger, though.
It totally is. Totally,
I really like this song.
Totally a banger. The line that it's with this album, listening to these songs, it's like when I first heard DJ, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then
so great.
And then the line, I'm home, lost my job, and incurably ill. It's like, okay. We're in familiar territory. I
And it's
fucking
such a
love
positive
this.
sounding song. I got a
It's
girl out there, I
amazing.
suppose. I don't know. I'm a DJ. Why wouldn't I have a girl? Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. It's the yeah.
It's so sad. I am a DJ. I am what I play.
Yeah,
Like, this is your entire identity. Wow. Like,
yeah.
it's so dark. It's so bad. Like, it's funny though, right? Right?
And
You like it though.
we all know a version of this guy too. Like it's like, yeah, I'm the guy that goes to the bar and has a snake.
And it like the like it's such a simple song. There's one other verse, and what I've got is like one more weekend. I'm like, oh no, you don't need one more. I don't think you need one more. I think you need to go cold turkey.
He
Make
used
sure
to
that
be,
turkey's wearing a scarf, bro.
oh yeah, he used to be my boss, and now he is a puppet dancer, I think.
Oh,
So yeah, I am so happy with the graphic that
yeah, my
it came
goodness,
with him.
it's terrifying. It reminds me a bit of Aphex Twin,
Oh yeah, yeah,
Come to Daddy,
yeah.
which was
um,
one of my favorite music videos when I was in high school.
so some of the stuff that it came up with a character that seems confident but might be falling apart. The voice knows what it's doing. The hands don't. Confidence is an overdub. Each phrase plays like it's being cued live. Rhythm loops because belief doesn't. The beat is steady. The self isn't. The character is mic'd. The person isn't.
Oh man. Yeah, all of that is very apt. It's wow. Um yeah, it's such a great song. It's
It really is.
it's so dark. Um and it's so much fun.
And
This is a person dancing into a burning building.
100%, and that burning building is their lives, and and they might not know.
The part of them that does is like, I
Yeah,
don't care.
it's kind of cool, right?
Let it happen. I'll go down a legend.
Yeah, but it's because I'm cool.
Right. Not that defeatist, I'm done. It's like, oh man, nobody else has done this before.
Yeah, it's like it is very much that like thing that I do sometimes where it's just like, yeah, I quit smoking, and I'm just like, oh, so you're not cool anymore.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I used to like you.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's some AI text.
Oh, it sure is. Um, Look Back in Anger. I do think Look Back in Anger. Before I hand it over to you to say your initial thoughts, I think that this song it would be better served if it wasn't in between the songs that it's in between.
I think that's fair because it's not terribly long.
Mm-mm.
It's not super deep sounding, but it's good.
It's
Like it
it's dense. It's got a lot.
yeah.
There's a lot going on there.
It's like classic Bowie where you're like, I got to listen to this a bunch more to really get what's happening.
Right. Right.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, first off, being a child of the 80s and 90s, I'm confused by the title. Because it's stupid Oasis.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, Look Back in Anger is a play, right?
No, I don't.
All right. Here we go. Look Back in
Oh,
Anger.
okay.
Back in Anger play.
Ooh.
Look Back in Anger is a realist play written by John Osborne. It focuses on the life and marital struggles of an intelligent and educated but disaffected young man of working class origin, Jimmy Porter, and his equally competent yet impassive middle class wife Allison. The supporting characters include Cliff Lewis, an amiable Welsh lodger. Oh, who attempts to keep the peace, and Helena Charles, Allison's snobbish friend, drew inspiration from his personal life, failing marriage. For successful, let's see if we can get some, let's see, background of the play, production, critical reception. It doesn't have like a summary or an analysis.
That's fine. You
Yeah.
get the general idea here. Like
Yeah, yeah. What's the term? Shit. Domestic life falling apart, kind of. Possibly having some career issues and all that.
Yeah, not necessarily domestic life falling apart as much as other songs here, but
Well, I think it's more like it's less of an emergency and more of just like a Kafka-esque sort of like, yep, life sucks.
yeah, yeah. Maybe you're right because it does. Like what's after? Oh, Boys Keep Swinging. Oh, of
Yeah,
course. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I,
Another
I
really catchy one.
yeah, I do think that this song, and you hopefully I'll remember to ask you this when we're talking about scary monsters. This song could very easily be grafted onto Scary Monsters and serve both the song and the album really well, I think. Because I feel like it gets lost. It's like it's that same thing that we've talked about with like Dark Knight Returns or Rises, where it's just like the first one was so good, or the original sequel, Dark Knight, was so good
Right.
that it's just like I don't even know if I'm able to recognize maybe this is better than I think it is, because it's in between these two things that are just so solid and so shiny. But anyway, speaking of solid and shiny,
Ooh.
we got Boys Keep Swinging.
Yeah. Boys love him and boys want to be him.
Sure do.
Boys.
When you're a boy, you can buy a home of your own. You can learn to drive.
You can learn to drive. You can wear a uniform. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell this is entirely tongue in cheek.
Oh, 100%.
Like it's the most obvious thing, and it's just a fun song. Just the structure of it, the boom boo doo boo doo doo boom boo doo doo boo doo doo boo on the bass, like it's just this like almost creepy pop.
Oh yeah, and like the manic violins and the just batshit guitar.
Oh gosh. Oh, what happens at the end when it that's something I wanted to ask. Like, who's doing all of this? Because you've got, like you said,
That's
the
Adrian Belew.
so it's all Belew.
That guitar is Belew. That's what he does.
The like, well, I get that,
yeah,
but
no,
then it switches back into the like bink like it goes into a more traditional sound.
That's
He's just switching voices.
That's just Belew doing what he does.
Okay,
Yeah,
great, love it.
Yeah,
yeah, because it's like he's trading souls with himself at this point.
that fits.
Because you see that a lot in bands that have two like lead guitars, and they just
it's
out.
Belew. This is why when I saw the Bowie tribute concert in 2016, 17, the year he died, I when Adrian Belew came out to play on this song, I was like, oh, I'm gonna see the guy do the thing that did the thing.
Well, that's great. Yeah, because it really defines the end of the song where they have this extended little rock out, and it's so weird and fun.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
The video, I'm so looking forward to you watching.
Let's save it for a Patreon.
We'll save
episode.
it.
Yeah.
It's just it's wonderfully ridiculous. Some of the notes: gender commentary, swapped instruments, chaos on purpose. Every step is a performance. Every wink a dare. He's not confident. He's possessed. Nothing here is accidental. That's why it works. Instruments swapped like costumes. Fit doesn't matter. Every line walks a tightrope and heels it denies wearing. The grin says yes. The mix says prove it. Collapse disguised as swagger. You're not being seduced. You're being dared.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's right. Yeah. It seems a little straightforward at the top, and then of course he starts throwing in other stuff.
And yeah, and some of the things he talks about as being like, this is why it's so awesome to be a boy. It's like, they'll never clone you.
They'll never. Oh yeah, they'll never clone you. I'm like, what?
It's like, who is this person?
You're so unique, boys.
It's
Yeah.
this really is just like, I think this person might be insane, or they just really like being a guy,
Men.
or
Men.
both. Yeah,
Have you seen the Barbie movie yet?
I have. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's just as I'm chanting men, I'm like, oh yes.
And then we get into repetition, which is a weird match to the previous song, to have Boys Keep Swinging and then this song.
Johnny's bigger than you.
Yeah. I mean, it's unambiguous what this is about.
Oh yeah, like the first time listening to it, I'm like, okay, there's something weird going on with the burr burr
Yeah, yeah,
on the
yeah.
bass, but then it's got this like it's still kind of upbeat, but it just feels weird. And then it's just out of nowhere. If you're not really closely paying attention to the lyrics, and I generally don't the first time around, to hear this quiet, don't hit her.
Yep.
You're like, oh crap, I gotta listen to the lyrics.
Yeah. It's it takes a very it takes this thing that is devastating, um and it treats it, it's God, it's almost like, are you familiar with Solo?
Of what?
The movie Solo.
No.
I haven't watched it, and
Oh, good.
for reasons that I think will be apparent in a little bit. It's a movie that is considered one of the better, like, cinematically better horror movies ever made. And one of the things that it apparently does is it presents you with all of these awful things that are happening, and it's all addressing like power dynamics and abuse of power and all of these things, and it's set in what feels like a realistic situation. And then right when it has gotten to a point where you're like, okay, I've kind of seen all this can be, there's not a whole lot more that you can do to me to make me like shudder at this. It then points out in a very cinematic way that you are actually the monster for watching this.
Okay.
And I don't think that this song does that necessarily, but the tone that he uses is that to me. It's like he's so. I mean, obviously he's the person who wrote the song. He's the person who's performing the song. All of it's an artistic choice. I'm not saying that David Bowie has a sort of laissez-faire relationship with the dynamic in this song, but the way it's performed and the way it's delivered is chilling in its sort of like objective, except for that one point where he says, don't hit her.
Right. And then yeah, it goes right back into this terrible
It's almost like,
why can't you cook?
yeah,
How do
what's
I
the
go to
good of
work
me
if you can't
working?
cook?
Yeah. And
Oh
then
yeah.
at least the bruises won't show if she wears long sleeves. It's like he's addressing it in this cold objectivity that is really, I mean, again, I'm not saying that that's how that's his feeling towards this topic, but that makes it, and along with the bass, that makes it really, it's just, this could be a different song, and that song wouldn't be as effective as this delivery and this production is, I think.
Yeah, and if you had thrown in any other lyrics, you'd probably enjoy this song more.
What do you mean?
It just melody wise.
Mm.
It's not like a
I see what you're
peppy.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah, this if you flip it the other direction, it's not a completely creepy song. It's just as you start to understand what's happening, you go, "Oh, this song's bad."
Hmm. Oh yeah. I mean, like in a good way. It's well done.
Yeah.
But it's bad.
Right. Yeah, this is about a bad person doing bad things. And if you had made the lyrics different, you'd be like, "Oh, this is a wacky little song. It's a little creepy."
Right. Yeah. The previous tracks set you up to be like, oh, okay, here we go. And then it's just like, oh no, we're somewhere different now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and there's no resolution. It's just it fades out. It's like,
Yeah,
this is
you
probably
can tell
going to happen
she knows
again.
he could have had someone else and he resents her for it, and
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
resents her for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. But it doesn't ignore the fact that he is 100% the villain.
oh yeah.
It's just that, yeah, this is the internal structure of
It's
both.
almost like the narrator has one moment where he tries to slip in and influence the events and
Yeah.
realizes, "Oh, I can't.
Right. Right.
That's not how this works."
Yeah, this is the architecture of this relationship and these people, and it's probably going to happen again. It has probably happened before. Um, yeah. Um, since there's okay, I do know a way to transition here.
Okay.
I was thinking about
Not a
these
jump cut.
songs. No, well, sort of. I was thinking about these songs, and when I was putting these slides together, it for the first time occurred to me. I think I needed the visual this to that. I needed that to see that, like, oh, we just went from this fun, flashy place that's like, you know, a satirical celebration of maleness and male privilege to like the other side of it in a
I
very
work, you
real
should have
way.
good food for me.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and it occurred to me that this was most likely entirely a choice. Um, and there's a moment on Brian Eno's album Before and After Science that has almost like an inverted moment where it's Julie With is a song where you're not sure if so it's this calm-ish song, but you're not really sure if he's about to break up with Julie or if they just experienced something traumatic together or if he like killed her.
Oh, that
It's
traumatic.
very
Okay.
spooky. Um,
Something you experienced together, I suppose.
yeah, went away. And then it leaves you with this sort of unsettled feeling. And then the next song is By This River, which is just a fucking beautiful song that is about it's like connecting across impossible things. Um, and the almost whiplash that the two give you right next to each other is really, really beautiful and like wonder. It's like the two next to each other. They don't work on paper, but when you experience that tonal shift, it's like, oh fuck, okay, I thank you for giving me that because it makes me appreciate the tension between these two as well as the spaces that they both separately put me in. This one, this combination, again, it does like the inverse of that, where it's like,
Hmm.
okay, here's this fun, shiny thing, and then I'm going to plunge you into this darkness, but it's going to be so subtle that you don't see these two things existing next to each other, but they do so clearly exist next to each other. Anyway,
Hmm. Wow.
that's
Well.
that's Dan talking about track listing.
All right. Now for our last one.
And now we're going to talk about folding pants. Then we have Red Money. It's a different song.
Yeah, it is.
And
Again, that repetition keeps coming in because what I keep thinking about is just that there's a bass and a rhythm guitar that just keep just jamming away through the whole thing.
yeah,
Again, it reminds me a lot of Talking Heads when they really get going on something. But yeah, it's just this like ba-da-da, 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 like it just keeps happening over and over. And even when they get to the chorus, it's pretty much just red money. And then someone going red, red, red for a while in the background. Like it it's got I mean it's a not a happy upbeat song, but it has a drive to it.
yeah,
There's something off about it. I
yeah,
don't know enough about the song.
yeah. Does the lyrics Project canceled, Tumbling Central? Can you hear it at all? Those sorts of things. Do they resonate with you in any sort of way?
I, Project Canceled was one of the things that I actually picked up on, and I haven't fully gotten to that thought process yet. It's just like what else is going on in the verses before? Because yeah, that's the chorus, but I'm not quite sure what that means yet. Is this a reference to a tour that Bowie had to throw off, or a movie that he wanted to do and couldn't, or some? Is it not quite so obvious?
It is. It is, and it isn't. The speculation about this is widely something along the lines of, okay, we've talked about David Bowie's trajectory up to this point, the struggles and all that, and so while he's making this comeback ish or rediscovery of who he is and what he can do musically, you have all these people who are starting to develop what becomes the new romantic movement and new age, not new age, new wave.
Right. That's a different thing than New
Very
Age.
different.
Yes.
And the punks and all that, all of this is hitting a fever pitch, and they are all they're headed towards a very clear success. Bowie's he's seeing new romantic coming. He's seeing, you know, all of these people are unquestionably
He just can't wait
influenced.
to give Adamant a really good song.
Yeah, these are all people who years ago would have been niche acts who he would write all the young dudes for before they broke up,
Hmm.
right? But now they are people who have all been filtered through his influence in some way. He's seeing them rise up. Eno's taking on production work with Talking Heads, who are kind of becoming one of the next new things.
Hmm.
So it's almost like, and this is again just wide speculation, Bowie's looking at all of these things happening and he's kind of saying, well, fuck, we should cash in on this, right?
If we influenced everybody,
Like,
Could we do what they're doing or do it better or influence them again?
Yeah, like if we're looking at a near future that is just nothing but people, hey Brian, if we're looking at a future that is basically shaped by the things that we've done, w- aren't we kind of allowed to like also do that along with them and at least like get our bag while there's a bag to be gotten? And the
Hmm.
speculation is that this song is basically him forecasting that and saying, okay, this thing that Brian Eno and I have been doing, it's really cool. We did some things, but we're going to press pause on that. We're going to go make our money. And audience, we're still good. We're still going to make it weird and interesting, but we'd kind of be stupid not to do this.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And one of the things that supports this idea is the fact that Brian Eno is not on this track at all.
Okay, so he's been on like
Not
everything else.
not out of protest though, I don't think. Speculatively, I think what's going on here is he was basically like, Brian, you go get your bag. I'm going to get my bag. Let's see if we work together after. This has been awesome. This isn't like never going to work with you. Go fuck yourself. This is like, we need to jump on this opportunity while we can. And then Eno's response is like, okay, I agree. You don't need me in this because that would taint what I'm doing as like my image. And that would also not signal to people what this is.
Right. Well, yeah, you're entering a time where being a phony is a big deal.
Well, it's a pure transition. If we're in there, it would be ambiguous. I think that this song, if in that framing, and it doesn't, I don't know if it's correct, but I'm not just making it up. This is based on a lot of people's interpretation. I think that it's sort of a way of saying like, I'm going to go make some cash now. And I don't necessarily, I do have mixed feelings about it, but holy shit, it would be so dumb for me not to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's a rework of Sister Midnight, which is a Iggy Pop song.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't know this until I did some of the research for this. Bowie actually sort of ghost wrote a lot of Iggy's hits from the mid 70s.
Okay.
Which again leads to this place where it's just like, look, I wrote this fucking song.
Well, and that's what he was trying to do at the time. He wanted to become a writer instead of a performer, right? Like,
right.
That's when he gave not Lust for Life. Now I'm thinking of Iggy Pop. All the Young Dudes away was him trying to get his foot in the door of, I'm a songwriter. I'm not a performing artist.
Right, and I think the piece that I'm not articulating well enough is that you have the coked out broken Bowie of like Station to Station era, where it's just like, holy shit, I can't even believe that I'm still alive, and then he goes into this low period where it's just like, I'm just gonna do anything that I can to like develop an identity for myself as a musician without the bullshit, and then Heroes, where it's just like, oh my God, I can actually do this shit. And then this one where it's just like, okay, let me see what this means to actually be able to play around in these ways that don't destroy me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think at some point during this, it would be perfectly natural for him to go like, holy shit, I'm David fucking Bowie. Like I wrote this song, I did this thing, I did that thing. I don't regret giving these things away, but holy hell, I got this douchebag over here. It's dressed like me. I got that. Like, I don't begrudge these people, but fucking hell.
Right. Why are they getting the fame now?
Yeah. Like, let me go show them how to do it.
Huh?
So anyway, just to close it out, why this album matters between me and ChatGPT having discussions about it. It's refusing to give you the next big idea. Instead, he builds an album of leftovers and half maps. It's uncomfortable, but it's a turning point. It's the sound of someone trying not to repeat themselves and failing in interesting ways. It's less a direction and more of a detour that became a destination. So there's no new character. That's the point. His ideas were left unpolished, but not unfinished. You can hear the tension between invention and inertia. This is reinvention. It's resistance to predictability. The seams show, but so does the fear of repetition. What you're hearing isn't Bowie explaining himself. It's Bowie refusing to.
Even when he directly repeats in weird ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm doing this for a reason. No, I'm not going to tell you what that reason is. Okay.
I'm not going to go further into this, but he is introducing a fourth dimension here. So I have asked it to come up with 3 questions for you to think about. You don't have to answer them, but they're things to think about. While re-listening to Lodger, what's happening in a song when it won't quite come together? Does it make you want to lean in or back off? Before hearing the next album, what would it sound like if Bowie did try to make things clean again? And then just for fun, I said I had to come up with a question for you for after Black Star. If a whole career leaves you without a clear answer, is that failure or the whole point?
Oh.
So.
Oh my.
And we are done talking about Lodger. Any final closing thoughts? Eric, I'm sensing a vibe from you.
Yeah, it's
we both are about done, I think, with the recording, but if you do have any like final.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally. Wait, who's listening? Yeah, this is totally my favorite David Bowie album. Yeah, totally
this is
my favorite.
Honestly, this is one that has, I think, I've said this about a couple albums. This one, I think, has benefited greatly from this re-listen. And I think that is related to whatever it was that thought that it would be not a terrible idea for this to be your first Bowie album.
I mean, I certainly would have latched onto some things, probably different things, without the back history.
I think that was like a speed run way for me to get you through all the way through that feeling of like, oh, he did this song too. Oh, he did this song too. Oh, he did this song too. To this place of just like, yeah, he did a lot of just weird all over the place shit.
Well, like, yeah, because it's not like this album has this breakout hit that everybody talks about.
No.
As far as I know.
DJ to an extent, but I think
DJ is clearly something that could play on the radio, even though it's tragic.
I think that really benefited from his resurgence in the mid-90s. I think if that never happened, DJ, nobody would know what that song is. But and I think that some people probably have seen the Boys Keep Swinging video, and they're like, oh, it's that one where he dresses up like an old lady.
Can't wait.
It's great. So I worked again with all the robots, and I had it come up with a haiku going forward. Unclaimed coats and rooms, whisper names not yet spoken. The mask fits backward. And that is something for you to carry forward as you consider the next album.
Excellent.
Any predictions?
Just scary monsters. I can't predict anything anymore.
I know, but that's why this is fun. Knowing that you can't predict anything, and knowing that you will probably be wrong, but who knows? There's a non-zero chance you'll hit it exactly. Just purely because it's a fun question and hopefully at least partially fun to answer. And yes, we are both ready to stop recording. Do you have any idea what Scary Monsters might be going
I'm
forward?
Looking at the album cover again.
Okay.
And it's got colors that remind me of the 90s far too early. But it's got the 80s aesthetic. Yeah, I don't know. He's got that little silhouette going, the shadow going. giving you a little more context with other pictures. Oh, it makes me want to
Makes me want to shout.
kick my heels up and
A little bit softer than that.
I don't know. Because my glib answer would be like honky tonk punk, but that could be it. I don't know. I mean, it seems like there's more. Like, why go back to something like this image right here? Makes me feel like there could be a saxophone involved somehow.
Okay.
But I don't think he's going back that way right now.
Okay. Okay.
I think we're moving on to something else, but I don't know what. It depends on who he's with, who he's playing with. Is it another new crew? Is it the old guard?
It's a mix.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's time to leave behind some of the electronic stuff.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm still feeling a little more weird punk in a way.
Okay.
Like, let's
okay.
go for something more raw.
Okay. All right. I'm withholding.
You're judging me right now. It's
No,
fine.
I not at all.
Fine. It's all right. I haven't listened to all the albums you've listened to from this guy.
What do you think of this guy? I'm showing
Well, he's got a great future in a certain circ.
Clown. Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
They like tones.
They sure do like tones.
Well, they do flips.
Okay.
And they're Canadian, which is basically British.
Also basically French, depending on which part of.
Yeah, French British, but they live in the trees.
All right. Well, you've passed your test.
You'll release the shackles from my recording chair.
I'll pull the other string that releases the shackles. It's the string that implies the shackles that was really hard to put together. Speaking of shackles, if you do attend a protest and you see violence happening, sitting down is probably the worst thing that you can do. And if you've heard anything to the contrary, I don't know. Let's just consider your sources.
And hey, speaking of identity theft, delete your Face ID from your phone.
Yes.
The worst thing you can have is a policeman grabbing your phone and shoving it in your face to open it up.
Yeah. Right. Hopefully this podcast will be released. Period.
Hooray.
That can mean a lot of different things. Right. I'm going to stop recording. Before I do, I'm going to say those magic words. Buy war bonds and bye-bye, we love you.